Astronomical phenomena known to astronomers before the advent of telescopes. Even before the telescope was invented, many astronomical phenomena were already observed and recorded. Which planets are easily seen in the sky without the aid of telescopes? Which planets are easily seen in the sky without the aid of telescopes? Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn are easily seen in the sky without the aid of telescopes. These planets can be easily confused with stars and are only seen at specific times of day. The best time to look for these planets would be before sunrise and after sunset. Even before the invention of the telescope, ancient people have already observed different astronomical phenomena. The most observable objects in the sky are the sun and moon. Babylonian and Egyptian civilizations used a primitive version of sundial called Junimon in systematically observing the motion of the sun. By looking at the shadows that the Gunimona cast, they were able to observe that the sun rises in the eastern part of the sky, reaching its highest point in midday, and sets the western part of the sky. Also, they recorded that the points where the sun rises and sets on the horizon varies over a year, and these variations happen periodically. They observed that these variations are related to weather and so concluded that the seasonal changes in climate happen during a course of 1 year. This is the explanation suggested by the Big Bang Theory, the prevailing theory about the formation of the universe. 7.1.1 Astronomers in Ancient Civilizations. Egyptian astronomy, 5th millennium BCE, considered as neither a very well-developed nor an influential study. Largely concerned with time, reckoning its main lasting contribution was the civil calendar of 365 days, consisting of 12 months of 30 days each and 5 additional festival days at the end of each year. This calendar played an important role in history of astronomy, allowing astronomers to calculate the number of days between any two sets of observations. Egyptian astronomers used sundials to tell the time, dividing the day into 24 hours, although the length of these hours was not fixed, ensuring that day and night both consisted of 12 hours. Whatever the time of year at night, they could be divided the sky into 36 groups of stars, called decans, which could be used to tell the time. Mesopotamian astronomy, 1800 BCE, constitutes one of the earliest systematic scientific treatments of the physical world. In contrast to the Egyptians, the Babylonians were interested in the accurate prediction of astronomical phenomena, especially the first appearance of the new moon. In 2000 BCE, the oldest lunar eclipse was recorded in Mesopotamia, using the zodiac as a reference. By the 4th century BCE, they developed a complex system of arithmetic progressions and methods of approximations by which they were able to predict first appearances. The mass of observations they collected and their mathematical methods were important contributions to the later flowering of astronomy among the Greeks. While Greek astronomers employed geometric and schematic methods which include using diagrams through geometric figures, the Greek astronomers who made major contributions in the field of astronomy were the following: Plato 428 to 348 BCE, a Greek mathematician and philosopher, student of Socrates and teacher of Aristotle. Theories of Theory of forms, which he believed that the universe is perfectly and unchanging and it was not created but it already existed from the beginning. He described the stars embedded in the outer space as eternal and divine. He also stated that the celestial moon was circular and spherical, uniform, and constantly regular. Challenging these ideas, he was unable to explain the imperfect motions of the sun, moon, and planets, are also known as the retrograde motion. Retrograde motion refers to the apparent change in the movement of the planet through the sky. It is not real in the planet does not physically start moving backwards in its orbit. It just appears to do so because of the relative positions of the planet and Earth and how they are moving around the sun. Eudoxus of Cnidus, 390 to 337 BCE. Eudoxus was the most renowned astronomer and mathematician of this day. In astronomy, he devised an ingenious planetary system based on spheres. The spherical Earth at the rest of the center. Around the center, 26 geocentric spheres rotate. The exterior one carries the fixed stars. The other account for the sun, moon, and 5 planets. Each planet requires 4 spheres, the sun and moon, 3 each. He was also the first astronomer to present a geometrical model of the universe. His model also claimed that the universe was composed of 5 other planets aside from the earthly named Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. These are planets that is visible with the naked eye. Aristotle, 384 to 332 BCE. He extended Eudoxus' model of the universe. Aristotle's model of the universe was also geocentric, with the sun, moon, planets, and stars all orbiting the earth inside of Eudoxus' spheres. Aristotle believed the universe is finite in space but exists eternally in time. Aristotle believed that space is fundamentally different from the Earth because he thought that objects in space are unchanging and move in perfect circles, which he considered to be perfect shape. In contrast to this, the Earth is imperfect and constantly changing. He argued that the Earth is spherical based on the following: every object is compressed and converged toward the center, forming a sphere. The North Star was believed to be at a fixed position in the sky. However, when Greeks traveled to places near the equator, they noticed that the North Star is closer to the horizon. During a lunar eclipse, the shape of the Earth's shadow reflected on the Moon's surface is circular. His model also includes the idea of atomic sphere that rotates at a constant angular velocity called as prime mover. The motion of the prime mover was transmitted from one sphere to another and causes the whole universe to rotate. Aristarchus of Samos, 310 to 230 BCE. He was the first to conceive the idea that the sun, not the earth, was the center of the universe. Aristarchus attempted to calculate the relative distance between the earth and sun in the 3rd century BCE. He did this by measuring the angle between the moon and the sun during a half moon and using trigonometry. Phases of the moon. Ancient people have observed that the moon changes its path and its appearance within a period of 29.5 days. They observed that the moon changes its appearance from a thin semicircular disk to a full circular disk. This phases of the moon is the basis of ancient calendars. Lunar eclipse. Besides their observation in the different phases of the moon, they also noticed that there are times when the moon or part of it seems to be covered with a shadow. For a brief moment, a lunar eclipse occurs when the Earth casts its shadow on the moon and the Earth is between the sun and the moon. A phenomenon such as this is known as the lunar eclipse, wherein the moon changes into a dark or blood red color. Solar eclipse. Aside from lunar eclipse, the occurrence of a solar eclipse was also observed. Solar eclipse occurs when the moon is in between the sun and the earth and the moon partially or completely blocks out the sun. The motion of the stars. It was also observed that the stars appear to be attached to a celestial sphere that rotates around an axis in one day. This axis intersects the celestial sphere at a point in the northern sky and is presently close to the northern star, Polaris. Also, the constellations positioned in the night sky vary depending on the time of the year. Visibility of the planets. Astronomers have discovered that Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn are planets because they have noticed that the stars are in a fixed position with respect to each other, like how constellations are always grouped, but they are very bright stars that change positions periodically. The stars do not belong to any group of constellations in the sky, thus they are called wanderers or planets in Greek terms. Key points. Even before the advent of the telescopes, ancient astronomers were able to observe the rising and setting of the sun in the east and the west respectively, point where the sun rises and sets in the horizon bars in a year. Phases of the moon, lunar eclipse, solar eclipse, daily and annual motion of the stars, and planets Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. That's all. Thank you.